Logan Paul, one of the few stars that we get to see on WWE TV, a guy who is still in his prime, has called out some wrestlers who are not happy with his position in the company. And of course, we have a 40-year-old jobber who decided to retaliate. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Logan Paul issued a response to certain WWE wrestlers who have been outspoken about his position in the company, and then Karrion Kross decided he was going to drop a so-called pipe bomb on Logan Paul, which basically turned out to be Karrion Kross bitching about why he doesn't have the same opportunities and he doesn't have the same exposure and engagement and analytics and all this stuff. So we'll see what Logan Paul had to say. We'll look at Karrion Kross's response, but for me, I thought it was pretty cheap for Karrion Kross. He came out and attacked Logan Paul, pretty much said that you have all the advantages handed to you. You have everything that we don't. And it just sounded like blah, blah, blah. Just a guy that, instead of actually making himself into a star or doing something actually interesting enough to get over, forcing the WWE to push him, just seemed like he was going to come out and bring up excuses for his shortcomings in the company. So, but yeah, I think that's the attitude that most people have now. It's a very victim mentality attitude in 2025, where if you don't make it, you just blame everyone else.
I'm cross with Kross. See these pipe bombs? It's just whiny little bitches at the end of the day. It's like, how fucking pathetic does it look, this guy, right? Oh, but he told Triple H to go fuck himself at Mania, and then he's wrestling on Main Event. Here he is, cutting these pipe bombs, man. He deserves this, he deserves that. And then there he is, working for the man, working for the big nose. The guy that's brought in Logan Paul and these, like, celebrity guys.
He told Triple H to fuck off?
Aye. Well, he didn't say Triple H, but that's who it was directed to. He told him to fuck off. The guy's in the back. The big guy in the back, fuck off. He said something along those lines. But how pathetic's that? But then he continues to work little shitty matches.
Thing is, he wouldn't say that to McMahon, would he?
No, because McMahon would fucking shite on him.
You're fired. Anyway, that's what Logan Paul said on his YouTube channel. He says, quote, "It's my understanding that some of my peers are not happy that I get these shots so quickly in my career. Let me break it down for you in your simple brains. Do you think I'm here because I go viral? You see the numbers and you think that's why I'm here? No, the reason that I'm here, the reason that I'm given these opportunities so early in my career is A, because I'm fantastic, but B, because I've been getting those impressions for a decade now, and those impressions come with an audience, a fan base, eyeballs. That's why I'm here, because people watch what I do, they care what I do, whether they're on my team and they want me to win, or whether they're waiting for me to fall, doesn't matter. They're watching, and that's the currency, attention. So my question would be, for the people who have a problem with my position in the WWE, who's watching you?" End of quote. And I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Whether people like you or whether people hate you, if you can garner attention, if you can divide people, then obviously that is a currency.
Yeah.
Bringing eyeballs to a product, that is valuable. And that is why Logan Paul has been able to get to the position that he's in. Look, is he pretty talented? I think he is. Does he cut a better promo than most people on the roster? I think he does. But if Logan Paul was just some guy who happened to have the same physique and same ability, but was a nobody that, wasn't this like big boxing celebrity influencer with a huge mega drink of his own, if he was just some normal fucking kid, then he would have started off in LFG. He'd probably still be on NXT right now.
Yep. No, of course he would. But Karrion Kross and guys like that, they can't see it. And, I'm not going to sit here and say Logan Paul's Mike Tyson, but it's similar to a degree when you've seen like Tyson come in with the feud with Austin and Michaels. Obviously never had matches and shit like that, but we've seen it in the past with celebrities, man. It's like Karrion Kross and guys like him, unless you're like literally the best in the business, there's always someone better than you. Why should Logan Paul have to sit and jump through hoops when he's right? He brings in numbers and he brings in attention. See if Karrion Kross had a boxing match against Mayweather and shit like that, he wouldn't be where he is. He might be in a tag team match with John Cena, but Logan Paul's in the tag team match because, as sad as it is, he is one of the biggest things in the company.
Yeah, whereas Karrion Kross just gets to cut promos during the Raw commercials. So that's the kind of levels we're dealing
The
with.
sands of time, guys.
Anyway, here's what Karrion Kross said. He said, quote, "It's been brought to my attention that somebody in WWE thinks that his peers have a problem with his position in the company. He still doesn't get it. No one has a problem with his position. The problem is that for some people who have put 20, even 30 years in, they were told that there is a certain skill set they have to acquire. Putting time in was going to equate to having a very particular set of opportunities. Those opportunities don't seem to be available for those people now because they did not build a brand outside of the company. For an extended period of time, no one was allowed to build a brand outside of the company. That's the issue. That's the problem. This person who believes everyone has a problem with him, it's not about him. Anyone can be him, and people would have a problem with that. If people were told when they went to professional wrestling schools that they had to build a brand outside of the company in order to position them to have a better opportunity that they could knock out of the park, that's exactly what they would have done. Now for some of those people, it's too late. So I asked that person, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Are we just going to wipe out an entire group of performers that have been doing this for an extended period of time just because it's impossible for them to catch up to that advantage? Me personally, I'm actually learning from that person and I see how the business is responding to that person. I don't dislike that person. I think that person is great, which I've been on record to say. I like that person. I think they're very cunning. I think they do the things that I wish Sami Zayn would do, and then he'd be world champion. I just don't think he still gets it. I'm actually shocked that he's rattled in the way that he is about this, because he doesn't have to be, but here we are. I think you guys get it though. End of quote. So I mean, a lot to break down there.
There's only one guy rattled, and there's only one guy that doesn't get it, and it's this dumb fuck right here.
So yeah, let's break in. So he says nobody has an issue with Logan Paul. Nobody has a problem with the position that he's in. The problem that they've got is essentially that they've put 20, 40 years into the business just for them to be told that they don't have the skill set that's acquired to be in the Logan Paul position. I think if you put 20, 40 years into wrestling and you're not in the position that you want to be in, then you probably should have quit a long time ago and took up another form of employment. I just couldn't imagine someone like Austin or someone like Taker with their attitudes and their mindsets. I can't imagine they would have worked in wrestling for 20 years, get fucking nowhere, and then make excuses and blame others as to why they're not main eventing and to why they've not been a world champion and things like that. And that's what Karrion Kross is doing here.
No, it's pathetic. I mean, 20, 30 years, so it's like, what, is Farouk supposed to have a beef with Brock Lesnar in 2004? Because he's worked for decades and Brock's only in the door? I mean, what sort of fucking logic is this? It's about making money. It's about becoming stars, man. Longevity means nothing. The only reason you should... See, back in the day... Oh, aye, that good quote. The only reason you should have longevity in wrestling is because you were good.
Yeah.
Like, no, how many times do you see it, right? Like Spike Dudley, guys like that. Not just picking on Spike Dudley, but... guys who might have just a short period in wrestling. And not those guys end up doing, like Stevie Richards that never had the big bucks. They end up going to have a normal job. Do podcasts. They're so blessed now that these fucking jobbers are living off guys in the past that they can actually make a wage off it and probably can retire once they actually do call it a day. But all these guys in the past that were mid-carders to lower mid-carders, they have to work after they've worked.
This is the luckiest generation in wrestling history.
Yeah.
That they've managed to just stick around so long that there's basically no stars left in fucking wrestling. And guys that would not have been seen dead on the main roster like 20, 25 years ago now actually have really good spots and are earning really good money. Anyway, Karrion Kross then spoke about the fact that the opportunities that Logan Paul has don't seem to be available for people like him now because they didn't build a brand outside of the company. And then he says for an extended period of time, They weren't allowed to build a brand outside the company, and he said that's the issue, that's the problem. Here's the deal.
Loser.
Stone Cold Steve Austin did not build a brand outside of the company. Austin came in with a shitey gimmick, the Ringmaster, and literally within, 18 months, had changed the game
Yeah.
with Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Yeah.
the Rattlesnake.
No.
Austin's rise to the top. Look how quickly it happened, and he didn't have outside help. He didn't come in with a brand. He didn't come in with any sort of crazy exposure. The guy was in WCW, known as Stunning Steve, and had like it was like a mid-card gimmick.
No, this is pathetic.
And he changed it up. He basically changed his entire character and shot to stardom in less than 2 years.
No, but that's a good thing.
But this guy's saying that 20, 30 years is not long enough.
Less than 2 years. Okay, that's good, Mr. Kross, because obviously he's firing a dig at McMahon here. Oh, we weren't allowed to create our own brand. Well, listen here, fuckface. McMahon's not been in the company for 2 years. You've just touched on how Austin changed the game in 18 months. So if Triple H has, freed the reins and everyone's allowed to create their own brand, this guy's got, he streams, he's got 10 viewers on Twitch. You're allowed to create your brand, Karrion. Oh wait, you're a fucking diddy, man.
Yeah, your brand is your brand is like streaming and playing video games on Twitch while pretending that you're making an equal amount of money as your wife who was on OnlyFans. And I think if we actually break it down, like. He says, he was combining their salaries. It's like, hold on here, your wife's charging like she's making like 40 grand, and you'll be lucky if you're making like $500 a month on Twitch.
No, but that's what I just don't get. It's a dig at McMahon. Oh no, honestly, see, look at the biggest stars of all time. Who made a name for themselves before going to WWE or WCW, for example? Who made a name for themselves before going to wrestling and then they became like just a star from it? Like, who was already a star before they got into wrestling?
Nobody. I mean, you look at all the top guys. They never built a brand before they got into wrestling. They built their brand as a wrestler.
There is
people can say Hulk Hogan's a brand, yeah, but Hulk Hogan built that in the wrestling business.
Yeah, it's like
he didn't build it outside.
There are guys like Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock, UFC guys before they got into WWF. But I mean, it's a completely different kettle. This guy's a fucking loser, and it's a dig at McMahon, and he's just digging a hole. But then this whole stuff, he's like, but that was for so long we weren't able to build a brand. Well, what's stopping you from building a brand now then?
Yeah, he then goes on to speak about how Logan Paul believes that everyone has a problem with him, but he says it's not about him. He says anyone can be him. Well, if it's that simple, if anyone can be him, then why don't you be him?
Yeah,
I think it's downplaying what Logan Paul has managed to achieve in his life to say anybody can be him. I disagree. You look at the success that guy's had. You look at the money that guy's made. I don't think anybody can be Logan Paul, because I think a shitload of people would love to be in Logan Paul's position, and they're not.
Logan Paul didn't win the lottery. He acted his way through his childhood, and then made a lot of his opportunities, invested his money, all that shit. Made a lot, and put a lot of effort in. He didn't look into it.
Karrion Kross, he's almost suggesting that if he was allowed to build a brand outside the company and of all these other wrestlers, then they'd be on the same level of Logan Paul.
Yep.
How would they? I'm not seeing it.
No, it's just...
Here, what was this guy? This guy's talking about being in wrestling for 20, 30 years. How come he never built a brand before he made it to WWE?
Yeah.
What brand did he build before he made it to WWE and McMahon took it away from him?
It's just a...
No, what was he? Did he have millions of followers? Did he have a net worth of like 50 million before making it to WWE? Because before he got to WWE, according to his own logic, he would have had a chance to build a brand.
It's incredible. When the guy's cut here, he's actually, the hatred for McMahon, his best period came under McMahon. When he had the whole stuff with Jeff Hardy, then he came back and he was like in the middle of that Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre feud. What's he done under Triple H? Fucking hee-haw. But again, he's licking the nose at Triple H.
Also, he makes out like this is just a current era thing where Logan Paul, he's been handed an advantage, and just because he had a brand outside of wrestling, it's now benefiting him majorly. this has always been the case. See, if you've been a superstar or a celebrity, then there's always been a place for you in wrestling, and your place will be above some jobber named Karrion fucking Kross. And whether it be people that have just come in for celebrity appearances, or whether it'll be people that have come in for matches, is this guy bitching about Mr. T? Mr. T got to main event at WrestleMania, not because of what he done in the wrestling business, but because of his brand. Lawrence Taylor, he got to main event at WrestleMania, not because of him having to put 20, 40 years into the wrestling business, but because he was a big player in the NFL. Mike Tyson, main event at a WrestleMania as a referee, not because he put 20 years into the wrestling business, but because he was fucking Mike Tyson, former World Heavyweight Championship boxer. This has always been the case in this is not a current day thing where...
Look at David Arquette.
Yeah,
got the belt because he was a movie star.
But this has always been a thing where if you've had success, or you're a celebrity, or you bring a following, or if you're going to bring eyeballs to the product, if you've had any interest of getting involved in wrestling, then the likelihood is, yeah, of course they're going to use you. Why wouldn't they use you? And you're probably going to get on a good spot. It'd be like, imagine if Taka Michinoku had an issue with Mike Tyson and called him out in '98 because Mike Tyson was getting to referee Shawn Michaels Stone Cold. And he was like, I know, but I've wrestled for 6 years in Japan. Why am I not in the main event?
I know, but it works vice versa. It's like Jesse Ventura's in Terminator, the Predator, right? But that'd be like one of the lesser actors of Predator beefing with him. Oh, he was able to create his brand in the WWF. I wasn't. I had to work my way through casting.
You're right. It's the same. What about? I bet you there will be way better actors than The Rock.
Aye.
Fucking way better actor. There will be better actors than John Cena.
Yep.
That are not getting the roles that these guys got. Why? Why? Because these guys built a brand. And guess where they built their brand, Karrion Kross? In the wrestling business. The same opportunities that you've fucking had. This guy's making out to be a success in wrestling. You have to build a brand outside of wrestling. How come the two biggest stars, or two of the biggest stars of all time, and the two of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now, The Rock and John Cena, are guys that built their brand solely in the wrestling business?
Exactly.
I think that Karrion Kross apparently says you can't do it.
It's the fact that it's just like one more dig at McMahon. It's fucking embarrassing.
Why couldn't Karrion Kross have had the same success as The Rock or John Cena?
Yeah. Or his own fucking wife, huh? Come on, Karrion.
Just crazy here. And then when he's saying to Logan Paul, so I asked that person, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Are we just going to wipe out an entire group of performers that have been doing this for an extended period of time just because it's impossible for them to catch up to that advantage? What a fucking whiny bitch. Saying that it's impossible. Nothing's impossible, right? First of all, you can achieve anything if you really work hard enough and you put your mind to it.
What's he want? They do WWE just to keep the roster? Can't afraid we can't get rid of anybody because they've tried. Oh, they've tried.
Yeah, but fucking losers. How much of a loser bitch attitude's that? He's like asking, "What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?" What like he's asking for a handout, saying that it's impossible for them to catch up to the advantage that Logan Paul has.
He's a fucking loser, man. You know what I mean? Losers try their best. You know what I mean? It's trying's for losers, Karrion. He's a diddy, man. He's pathetic, man. Blaming everyone but himself. Yo, has the could he have been booked better? That's everybody that's been in wrestling could have been booked better. There's no point in going down that road, man. It's for what you're given, and he's done fuck all. You know what I mean? Like that is the truth of it. He's shite. Honestly, man. It's like, well, so what are they supposed to do in wrestling? Keep guys that have been on the indies for 20, 30 years because instead of bringing in guys that have, only been on in the media for like five years.
Yeah, but this guy makes it like if you're in wrestling, you're fucked. If you're only in wrestling, you can't create a brand. You can't.
Well, then he's in the wrong business.
Well, here, Dave Bautista, he was in wrestling. It worked all right.
Well, then he's in the wrong business, man. He needs to go back to his free Twitch followers, man, because this isn't it for him.
I just think that mentality he's got is pathetic.
And it's the dig at McMahon.
Yeah, it's a dig at McMahon as well, but
we can't create our own brands. Didn't that big nosed bastard say we're not looking to create any new stars? You know what I mean? I was having it said that. Look at the amount of household names that Vince McMahon's fucking created, folks. Oh, but you know what? But no, I don't get. See this whole thing that McMahon didn't let us create our own brand. WWE gives you the platform to create your own brand. McMahon gives you the platform. You know what I mean? Well, what's these adventures that Karrion Kross wants to do? What is it, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that we've seen fucking John Moxley lose at every week? Is that what he wants to? No, does this guy not take part in shit? What was his grand idea that McMahon didn't let him do?
Yeah, but,
What is it? If it's so groundbreaking, why doesn't he just leave WWE? It's like Sami Zayn bitching about the Middle East.
yeah, but what did the guy?
If WWE's holding you back, then fuck off.
What did the guy create before he got to WWE though?
Fucking hee-haw. Nothing. Honestly, man.
It's not like he created. It's not like he was a huge star. Oh, yes, I had 5 million followers.
Yes.
I got the WWE. McMahon erased it. He took it away.
But if the WWE's so bad and it can't leave, why doesn't he apply it to Disney? Try and get on the Disney Channel like Logan Paul did. Then
create your own YouTube channel, Karrion Kross,
then challenge Mayweather to a fight.
Why don't you bring out your own energy drink? If anyone can do it, if it's just that easy.
He's
You know?
a toss pot, man.
Anyway, guys, Karrion Kross, absolute loser. Just a typical mentality. It's not my fault. Blah blah blah.
Well, I've seen a lot of people defend him though and say this guy should get pushed. See for this, fuck him, man. Get rid of him, release him. I actually can't wait till he gets released.
You know what? In terms of his work or whatnot, I don't think he's the worst guy in the company.
No.
But this attitude's stinking.
What did he say? Sami saying on Raw, "You'll never be a world champion."
Well, neither will you.
Neither will you, buddy.